James Colin.
Hello.
Cameras all good, yeah, at the back? All good, thank you. James, go ahead, please.
Ben, well done. Another thrilling England win at Headingley. How big a victory is that for you, and in the context of this series and momentum?
Yeah, well, obviously really big in the context of the series. We know we needed to win this one to, keep our hopes alive winning the Ashes. So, yeah, good win.
What did you say to the guys just now?
Now?
In the changing room, yeah.
Not a lot yet, to be honest. Just a lot of well dones and a lot of hugs and good work. We haven't wrapped up yet as a team.
How key could that win be for the confidence, the belief? I know you'll say that confidence is always there, but just in terms of changing the narrative in this series.
I think if you look at the first two games in terms of how tight they were, getting over the line in another tight game can sort of, I don't know, mentally sort of help, knowing that, another close game, but we've got over the line on this one because the first two didn't go our way. So you sort of, you flip it round and we didn't win this one, but it was tight again. You sort of like, it's just not meant to be. But yeah, like obviously we over the moon that we've won this one, but it's just the start of what we know we need to do.
And Wood and Wokes come in, perform. A good selection headaches as you look to Manchester?
Yeah, it's always good having selection headaches as a squad and as a team. But look, we obviously went with Woody and Wokesy this game, and when you make some changes, and Mo back into team as well, so when you make changes and those guys come in and make an impact at different points throughout the game, you obviously give yourself a little pat on the back and say well done. But look, I think Wokesy being out of the team for such a long period of time to come back in and perform in the way that he did, both with ball and with bat, seeing Woody running in like he does, big smile on his face and enjoying every moment out there was great. And I said before the series started that I decided to go with Mo back into the squad because of his impact he can have on games, and I've played a lot of games with him and I know the impact he can have on his best days. And you look at that little spell yesterday with 15 minutes when he took the wickets of Marnus and Steve, that was a huge point in the game. And that's like Mo as a cricketer. You bring him into a team and you want him to be impactful with the ball and bat, and he certainly was with the ball this game.
9 days until the next test. How would you rate Ollie Robinson's chances?
Not sure. 9 days is a long time for the diagnosis on something, or 9 days is a long time for someone to get over something. So I'm not able to comment on that yet.
And your knee, you didn't bowl here, but how would you feel you'll be able to pull up in Manchester? I know it's hard to say, but do you feel like you want to bowl in that test?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, I said that the selection this week was based on me not bowling a ball, and 9 days again is a long time for me and Baz, and to make some calls around selection. So we just have to wait till Manchester.
Finally, what was the thinking with Moeen coming in at 3?
It was him, actually. It was Mo. He came to Baz last night and said, I'd love a go at 3. I want to take the Aussies on in this run chase. Basically let me out there. And when we thought about it, we actually thought that him coming in at 3, he was able to impact the game more than he would be able to do it at number 7. Doesn't always work out, but obviously we thought it was a real good move for us. And I just love the fact that Mo's willing to put himself in those situations, that he wants to get out there and help the team, in a positive way. So yeah, I mean, when I took the role on, I asked for 10 other selfless cricketers, and that little moment of Mo going to Baz saying I want the opportunity is, everything that we're about as a team.
We've got Rory, Stokesy, Rambo and then Mel.
And with 2019 in the background this whole week, and with the don't know why that's happening. The knock at Lords as well, and then your first innings. It felt like you were really looming large over this chase, and it was going to be about Ben Stokes as captain. How pleased are you to see someone like Harry Brook, a young lad, come in and make it about them?
Yeah, well, I think that's obviously, some of the things that I did here in 2019 is probably always going to be a talking point as long as I'm still playing, especially at this ground. But, we didn't, not one of us sort of seen it as like that. I didn't see it like that. I knew the task that was at hand when I went out to bat. And yeah, look, Brookie, I thought the way in which he controlled the game from ball one with the bat was amazing. He went out there and put the pressure straight back onto them. And then, the way in which he played with Wokesy in that very important partnership for us, I thought was high class. For such a young lad in a high pressure situation in the Ashes series, I thought was incredible. So yeah, look, we've all seen what he can do with the bat. He's an incredibly gifted player. And I think he's only going to get better and better the more pressure situations he gets put in.
And you said at the start of this week that weirdly 2-0 down felt like a sort of a perfect situation for a team who need to, I guess, simplify it and just make it about one thing, winning the game. Now there's one down and you're in the same situation for the next 2 weeks. Do you still feel like that's a pretty handy spot for your team just to know that it's all or nothing?
Yeah, it doesn't change from, after the Lord's game, before this game to before the game in Manchester. We're going to have to do exactly the same thing and play cricket that hopefully gets the result our way.
Stokesy?
Ben, this is obviously a special win for you guys, but in terms of comparing this to 2019, you're captain now. Does this feel better than that because it's a proper team effort as well? It wasn't just one person getting you guys over the line, everyone chipped in and you're still in the series?
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, I was a bit nervous at the end. I think I walked about 2k around the Headingley dressing room for the last half an hour. I couldn't actually watch the last 20 runs be scored. Yeah, it's just a completely different place when you can't do anything, when you can't influence the game anymore and you're watching and hoping things are going to go your way. But in terms of, where the series was at before this game started, that whole performance from bat, ball, field and everything like that, I think was just an unbelievable effort from everybody. There's been little moments where individuals have stood up and put in certain performances that have just swung the game back towards us. Even little things like Woody's knock the other day, where he got 26 off 8 balls, was a massive momentum swinger for us. So you can look back on that game and look at certain individuals, the performances they put in, which has all led to us being here as the winning team today.
And you guys have achieved some pretty special things over the last year or so, but given what was on the line today, is this your most satisfying win as captain?
That's me after the last test.
Got a few to get through, so one each going forward. Mel, or Rambo, sorry, then Mel.
Been a lot of comparisons, obviously, to 2019, but then you went on to Manchester after that and the series was decided. Is there things that you learned from that game so you can take the momentum of this win into a match that's more than a week away?
No, I remember going to Manchester in 2019 and actually saying the complete opposite. So we had to park everything that happened at Headingley, all the noise that was around that game. We got over the line, but we know that the job at hand in front of us is way more important than what's been said and what's been done. And it'll be the same again in Manchester. That, albeit another great game of cricket, and we've kept the series alive at 2-1. Then we just have to park everything from this week, but also continue in the way in which we play. Because I said last week after Lords that we find ourselves in the perfect position with the way in which we play cricket.
Mel, go ahead.
Just on the different times that you decide to attack and decide to absorb, which you've spoken about a bit, that was a remarkable, especially to this afternoon, the absorbing that those guys did. Do you feel that you got those times right throughout this test?
Throughout the whole game?
Yeah. With
ball and bat? Yeah, I think so. Look, we've obviously got plans as a bowling unit to certain individuals of the Australian batting lineup, and look, it's when Mitch Marsh comes out and plays a knock like that, it's sort of, makes you sort of not second guess, but maybe think, could we try something else? But sometimes, when someone gets the better of you like that, you just got to hold your hands up and just say he had his day out. And credit to Mitch, he played an unbelievable knock. It was very hard to bowl to, and it was very hard to set consistent plans to. That's the type of player he is. So, look, I think overall we absorbed when we needed to absorb, and then we put it back onto them at the right times, and we did it in our way, and the individuals did it in their way. And yeah, they were very clear about how they wanted to go out and do things this whole week, as we had been throughout the first 2 games before this one.
Good. Bharat, Will, Dan, Brett, and finish with Matt Willis.
Ben, you spoke about wanting selfless cricketers, but can you just talk about captaining a player like Mark Wood? It looks like every time he runs into ball or has a bat, he does it like his life depends on it. Just a joy of captaining a player like that.
Yeah, it's great. I've known Woody for 16 years now. He's never changed since he was a kid. He's always been the type of person that he is, that you see out on the cricket field and when he sits here and talks to you guys. And he just loves playing cricket for England. He loves playing cricket, full stop. Whenever he's got the ball in his hand, you'll see him give everything he possibly can, whether he's fresh, whether he's tired, whether he's coming back for a 4 spell in the day. He just keeps running in and running in and running in. And even with the bat, you know, he's willing just to take it on. And having plays like that is obviously, you know, just great, not only for me, but I think also for the team, because he just brings us this energy and excitement, you know, especially when he's got the ball in his hand. I think everyone watches him bowl because of just what he does with the ball. You know, he's got a very special gift and talent. I'm not sure how, because he's about 4 stone wet through. But yeah, he's a special cricketer, and we're very lucky to have him.
Will?
Ben, do you think the Mo experiment could be seen again in this series, or do you think you could card him at 3 and start a game with him there? Because obviously it did help a little bit today with Harry Brook coming in at number 5 and then playing so well.
It was more situation. The thought was more about the situation in which we found ourselves in. You know, it was a very, as I say, it was last night. Mo made the comment to Baz, and Baz really liked it, and I really liked it. It wasn't really on my radar, to be honest, but you know, when it was a thought, we both, well, all 3 of us really liked it, and we went with it.
Dan?
Ben, I just wanted to ask you about what you thought of the pitch. You know, quite different kind of cricket was able to be played on this surface relative to the first 2 tests, and I suppose how satisfying it was to beat Australia, and I suppose, you know, win a few big moments in those sorts of conditions when, you know, they've got a strong pace attack.
I thought it was a really, really good test wicket. There was always pace in the wicket for the bowlers, and as a batter, you felt if you got in, you could score. The outfield is ridiculously fast here, but you know, no matter what, you always felt if you were putting the ball in a good area, you always felt in the game, you know, behind the sticks as a slip fielder. And yeah, I just thought it was a brilliant game, and it I think largely factory to the wicket, which was produced here at Headingley this week. So you've got to give big raps to the guys here. And they did a fantastic job. Even the little things like yesterday with the rain and stuff like that, the way in which they hustled around to keep the ground fit to still be able to play was a great effort from them. So yeah, thanks to the Headingley ground staff.
Mike, and we'll finish with Scott.
Ben, did the atmosphere here stay the right side of the line at all times as far as you're concerned? And would you like more of the same at Old Trafford?
Say the what?
Did the atmosphere in the crowd stay the right side of the line here with all the booing and so on? And would you like more of the same at Old Trafford?
I don't think I can be in a position to say how people come and watch us play. You know, I've got asked this question a lot. You know, we've been to Australia a few times myself, so yeah.
Scott, last one, please.
Ben, Pat came in here and said that he feels Australia still haven't played their best cricket in this series. Do you feel like England have now played their best cricket, or is there still a fair bit in front of you?
Sorry, I just crossed that last bit.
So, yeah, do you feel like you've played your best cricket now in this series, or is there still a bit in front of you?
I still think we can be better. And, you know, the thing about cricket I find is that no one's ever got a perfect answer to anything about how it should be played. You know, everything will always be assessed on the outcome of something, which is always going to be the case. But yeah, no one's ever going to have the perfect answer for how cricket's played. It's a mad sport. It's why we love it. It's why we play it. But I still think that we can be better in certain areas, and that's always what we'll try and do. Is we'll just keep trying to get better and better and better, and just keep trying to be as clear as you possibly can as a team. But again, people always seem to have an answer after the fact of something happening. I don't think anyone's going to ever crack how cricket should be played or the right way it's to be played. So that's why it's such a great game.
Brilliant, thank you. Cheers, mate. Thank you. Cheers, guys. Enjoy your week off. Recharge, we'll see you next year.